I'd like to read the game Luigi's Mansion as a tale of individuation from the point of view of Luigi himself. I feel that throughout Mario video games, Luigi always has this sort of secondary role, which in many occasions is joked about as, the fact that there's a certain amount of jealousy at being second place, but also there's a certain amount of fear from Luigi's part which prevents him to take on the risks that Mario would take. So Luigi's sort of split within himself in feeling afraid enough to rely on Mario's authority, but at the same time, he has enough desire to be an individual to feel somehow jealous or want to have his own self, his own individuality. Um, in fact, as a little side note to this, something I find interesting is how Yoshi and Luigi are the same shade of green, and they both play similar roles in relationship to Mario, where, in Super Mario World, Mario will sort of piggyback Yoshi and sort of ride him. Yoshi will be like the vehicle. And in a sense, this seems to be a representation of what the relationship between Mario and Luigi is most of the time, which is Mario somehow climbing on Luigi's shoulders to reach the heights, but then Mario getting all the credit. But as I said, no one party has more sort of hmm, responsibility than the other in this affair, because Luigi also allows himself to be second place out of fear. And Mario's dynamics are a whole other thing, which I'd like to get into in other videos. But so, as far as I can tell, Luigi's Mansion was the second game which starred Luigi. The first was Mario is Missing, that sort of educational Super Nintendo game. And as the title shows, Mario is missing. That's why Luigi takes the center stage. In a sense, Luigi's Mansion is exactly the same. Mario is missing, so Luigi is the one who takes the center stage. But this is like see, this is the reason, in a sort of meta game sense, this is the reason Luigi is jealous, because the only games he stars in, it's not because of his individuality, it's because Mario is lacking. It's almost as if Luigi is only there to fill in a void that's been left by Mario. But what Luigi wants is to fill in his own space, not to fill in someone else's space. So here's where we entered Luigi's mansion. Luigi wants a mansion of his own, a space of his own, a house and a place that is his self, his individuality. And, he gets a message, an unexpected message, saying that he's won a mansion, that actually he has a mansion and he didn't know about it. I think this is one of the first steps in this process of individuation. As we learn at the end of the game, this message has been sent by King Boo, this sort of ghost figure, which would be almost like the ultimate fear in Luigi's mind. All the fear is sort of concentrated into this ghost, the king of his fears almost. The king of his fears that he is fighting against is the one that sends the message that you have a mansion. The thing is, you see that here there's a dual thing going on, because it's not a lie. He does have a mansion, but it's been neglected for so long. It's like he's been neglecting his soul, his inner self for so long that it's become infested with ghosts. So he has to go down there and sort of rid it of the ghosts. And once he's rid it of ghosts, like it happens at the end of the game, the scary mansion disappears, but a new mansion is built in its place. So, in a sense, the letter from the beginning of the game is telling the truth. Luigi has a mansion. Luigi has the capacity to have his own mansion, and he and this letter is almost a good omen because it sets him off on his journey towards the mansion. So King Boo, because King Boo is part of Luigi's fears, King Boo is somehow attacking Luigi, but at the same time helping Luigi. Um, Now, Luigi is very excited, according to the instruction booklets, the story of the game. He's very excited and he calls his brother Mario and says, "Hey, let's go and celebrate." Now, when Luigi gets to the mansion, Mario isn't there. Mario should have been there. And Luigi starts to get nervous because at the same time that he realizes that Mario isn't there, he realizes there are ghosts. I think these two events are they happened at the same time for a reason psychologically. The realization that Mario isn't there is the realization of his own ghosts, is the realization that he is constantly is expecting Mario to be there. It's this realization that he on one hand the realization that his jealousy is created by himself, but also it's also some sort of a blame put on Mario because it seems as if the game excuses Mario by turning him into the victim who has been abducted by King Boo. But it almost seems like a dream mechanism of hiding or shielding another side of the reality, which is that Mario just didn't show up. Mario didn't show up because Mario is also jealous. Mario is jealous and afraid of losing his authority as the king figure. And the fact that Luigi is going on his own individual quest doesn't please Mario unconsciously. But Mario consciously would never sort of accept that. So the dynamic of the game has to find a narrative that makes Mario the victim of that situation. So the second Luigi finds himself alone without an authority figure, Professor Egad comes in, an older man, an older authority, but also, and that's the twist, he's an old man who looks like a baby almost. He has this sort of little bit of hair and just has this appearance, the same appearance that a lot of baby characters have in Mario games with this twirl of hair and everything. So it's almost like the man who is so old who has reverted back to his childhood. Um, Again, almost like a shamanic guiding figure. Um, Also, he has these big glasses, which on one hand are sense sort of a meaning of short-sightedness, but at the same time, big eyes, almost like, you know, big wise eyes to look into the unconscious, look into the darkness. He knows a lot about ghosts. He's the one to guide Luigi through this battle towards with his ghosts. And so continuing on, Luigi, goes through the game, doing everything, and then at the end of the game, there's an incredible scene just before the boss battle, where Luigi enters this sort of temple area, this sort of yeah, almost like a sacred shrine place where King Boo is waiting for him, and King Boo has turned Mario into a painting, and King Boo is looking at this painting, and because Mario can't fight back, he's sort of enjoying the process of insulting Mario. He's saying like, "Oh yeah, look at you now, defenseless. You know, you've made me go through so many things, so many struggles, but now, now you are the one who's defenseless." And King Boo goes through this whole monologue, and what he says could be replaced by Luigi's words. In a sense, it's almost like King Boo is speaking out what Luigi is afraid to admit. These feelings of anger and jealousy towards his brother are being put in the mouth of this ghost inside of Luigi. And then, but then the second the ghost turns on Luigi and says, now I'm going to turn you into a painting as well, the ghost enters Mario's painting, and suddenly the painting of Mario turns into Bowser. Almost as if, again, the Bowser being like the shadow side of Mario, this shadow royal, I'm the king. Mario wants to be the king, the dictator, unconsciously. So this is the psychological element Luigi is fighting against here. And King Boo is this sort of dynamic that is guiding these fears. And I also find it really interesting how the the whole thing happens in a painting, because you are playing a video game on a screen, and inside the screen there's another screen which is a painting. And here it's almost like at the end of the mansion there is one more thing which Luigi has to confront, and it's the fact that this battle takes place in a painting. It's the only place it can take it's the only place it can take place. In the same way that all these emotional psychological struggles take place in the stories of mythology, of art, these psychological complexes are projected onto an external canvas, and that's where the battle happens for it to be successful. If you project this battle onto, if you project your shadow onto a friend or a family member, then you will forget that it's your own shadow, and then the battle will be lost. If you keep reminding yourself that this is not actually Mario, this is a painting of Mario. Luigi's not fighting against Mario, he's fighting against his feelings towards this painting. And that's why the battle must happen there. It's like the final realization Luigi has to come to. And this painting in his mansion, because this is his mansion, this painting is put at an altar in a sacred shrine, almost as if Luigi complains that Mario gets all the credit, but at the same time, Luigi is guilty for having put Mario up on a pedestal in his own unconscious. This shrine exists within Luigi, and he has idolized his brother unhealthily. And of course, at the end of the game, the scary mansion is cleared of all these ghosts because Luigi finally confronts the fact that this is his internal battle, and in doing so, his mansion appears. He gains his piece of individuality. He has his mansion, his self, his place of being. And yeah, just think it's a really nice little game.